I think we're going live. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Are you reading me? Are you reading me, everyone? Everyone? I don't know how many is in the chat yet, but what's up, everybody? So, Jakob haQ here, Jakob haQ live on Wednesday, on time, this time. I accidentally started this stream earlier when I was setting it up. I was gonna test it out because I've been noticing lag between what you see and what you hear, and I don't know what's going on here, but I just am not able to fix that. I used to have it fixed, and then ever since I used StreamYard, everything went to absolute crap. YouTube always starts as soon as I start streaming from OBS, and I can't find a way to turn that off, and I cannot sync my audio properly. So I don't know what StreamYard did, but it told YouTube some lies about me, and now YouTube will not work with me. So hello and welcome, everyone, and today what I wanted to do is to go over a lot of your comments that was made back on the video, what was it called, what we need from app developers 2020 or 2021. The thing is that there's this one app that I've seen so many people asking for a long time. Like every year I've made that video, 4 years now I've made that video, and this thing keeps coming up, and it has to do with let's see if I can find it. We'll probably get to it, but I can tell you right now that that app, or what people want, is Melodyne for iOS. And for anyone who don't know what StreamYard is, your Jade. Anyone who doesn't know what Melodyne is basically this amazing piece of software that you can, let's say you do this. You have like 3 singers coming in. They just traveled here. They're from somewhere down in Africa, so maybe they're from South Africa. They've been here for a week. You happen to be in the studio at this time. You love this band, these singers, and you tell them, hey, can you please just come into my studio? I'll pay you like $500. Sing this verse, do this for me. And they go in there, they do this verse chorus thing, and then they go home. You won't be able to meet them again in a year before they do their next tour, so you can't fix anything. Okay, so what do you do when you enter your studio, you listen to the material, and you can hear that just one singer is just drifting with their note at this one place? Melodyne can magically go in there, break it up for you, so that you can fine pitch just that little thing for you. Well, it's not perfect, trust me, it's not perfect, but you know, whether you're working with guitar or vocals, I've used that piece of software back in days when I was working in some pro studios. They use that. I've never had a license for Melodyne myself, so I've never, been able to sit down and really work with it, but for myself and for my own stuff. But I can get why people want that, and not only that, you can use it to do so many creative things. So I get why people keep, sorry, I keep clipping. I get why people keep asking for it, and I'm hoping that maybe we can get it. So let's see here. Already people are writing, freezing, rendering AUV3s is still a mess. I want AUV3s to work reliably using sample rate. Yeah, there are so many issues actually working with iOS. And not too many days ago, if you're following me over at Twitter, there's this guy called Ben, and he also does videos on music production and stuff, and he's been using a lot of iPads, and I saw one of his videos being posted in the iPad musician group or something like that, and I watched his whole video because it's so good, and I was laughing the whole time because I could recognize myself in all the problems he was having, just trying something as simple as connecting a sound card to your device and then having that just fail and not knowing what that is it the lightning connector? What do you need to do for USB-C? Why doesn't this card work? Is it power? Is it a new cable I need? Like, I recognized all of it. I thought it was super funny and hilarious, so I suggested to him that we should probably do a live stream and talk about this. I think that could be fun. So we'll see. We'll see if he wants to do it, if he has time, because I know, being someone who does videos too, I know that time can be, a bit limited. So I'm okay if he doesn't, have time for it, but it would be a fun chat to have. I have the basic version Melodyne Elements, but I haven't used it much. Well, Michael, you should try to get into it. You should try to get into it a bit, because Melodyne can do things for you, and when you get to know it and start using it creatively, I completely get why people want that. I just have a hard time seeing how this pretty, it costs money. Melodyne costs money. Not as much now as it did in the past, because software prices has gone down over the years, and for people just entering the scene, music scene, through iOS, they have not been able to see the prices we used to pay. So when someone tells me you can pay a subscription for what, like $100 a year or something to get like a full suite of apps, it blows my mind, because I've been there paying $1,000 for one license of one software. I've been there paying $300 for one plugin. I've been there, right? So I mean, today it's cheap, almost not cheap. I mean inexpensive. It's inexpensive with apps. And Melodyne on iOS, I just have a hard time seeing them do anything like that unless they kind of cripple it in some way so that you can't get the full experience. Maybe you only have up to like a certain amount of bands or something. I don't know if they would ever do that. I don't see how they would put the full software on here, because the app prices just, I don't think it would justify putting in the time to do that. I'm not sure, but yeah, it's a very, very powerful piece of software. Not doing any vocals yet, but also looked at it using for non-vocals. Yeah, exactly. Guitars, you can do weird stuff with drums. Oh, I've added some bass notes to my drums using Melodyne in the past, and it's super weird. Sounds very special. It's got a special sound to it when you do it like that. Isn't Melodyne owned by Avid? Is it Avid now? But how many Avid apps have you seen? How many Avid apps? I mean, I don't think they do any Avid apps, do they? Do they do any Avid apps? Either way, so let's check this out. And whatever you want, just comment, and type into the chat. Just make this thing come alive like you always do. This is really fun to just go over after my streams. I can see everything that I miss. But we're gonna be checking out some of these requests here, and can you even see that? Can you even see this? Come on now, Jacob, didn't I already fix this? That looks so crooked. If we do that, put it down a little bit, can y'all see me now? I think that's a little bit better. I mean, it's still kind of hard to read, and on mobile it's kind of hard to read. So, let's get down the music here. Music of Sound already writes, I already have what I need. It's called Drambo. And you know what? Drambo is, like, I've already made the top 5 synth apps of 2020, and I even added a synth to that list, and that was Pipa by Klevgren with my last video I made, which is, I'm sad that I missed it. It would have been a top 6 list. But what I really want to do is a video called The Ultimate iOS Music App. It's Drambo, of course. Because Drambo is, I think I wrote this in the iPad musician group 2 days ago. Drambo is a modular synthesizer at its heart. And at its head lies a pattern sequencer, an Electron-esque style step sequencer, and then you can do what you want with it. Rumpler, uh, like a sample player, synthesizer, drum synth, drum player. You can make it into an impactor like AUV3 plugin. You can use it as effects. It has support for AUV3 multi in and out, and on top of that, it also supports loading AUV3s into Drambo. And the sickest thing I did the other day was loading Drambo into Drambo as an AUV3. It's just too much fun. And now I've also found a way of using Drambo for live MIDI looping. And it feels like I finally have what I need for that. And I am working on a video. In fact, that's what I was doing before I started the stream. I'm working on a video like a part two of the video I made where I said I don't do MIDI sequencing. So there's a new video gonna come out because my top 10 app FX app list is just taking very long now because suddenly it's gone from 5 to 10 apps. Because I felt I had to add more to it. So yeah, I don't know if I'm ever gonna finish that video because it just keeps growing. Considering a new M1 Mini, probably wait for next gen. The sequencer in Drambo will get some nice features. Yeah, okay, so the nice thing about sequencer in Drambo, it's already polyphonic, so you can already do multi-notes. The only problem with the sequencer is that it is a step sequencer, all right? So you don't have a piano roll, you can't really, edit around stuff in there. That's the only drawback, but everything else with Drambo just makes it into an ultimate experience on iOS because it can be a host, it can be hosted, it can host itself. It's sick. I had this I I I I think I have it still. Maybe if I have it, I did this Groovebox with just Agonizer loaded as AUV3 inside Drambo. Super fun, super fun. I mean, come on, it's just, oh man, Drambo, wow. And the updates just keep coming. Jarek keeps pushing out updates for Drambo. Anyone who hasn't tried Drambo yet, you're not wasting any money. Even if you use it for a little while and you're like, yeah, this is pretty cool, but I can't find any use for it, you haven't wasted your money. That was an experience, like going to the cinema. That we don't get to do that anymore, really. Which I don't do anyway, cause I can't stand sitting among a lot of people, and then there's sneering and snorting and snorting. It's not that usually not snort. Well, I don't know. Some people might be snorting over it, whatever it might be. It's a sidetrack, I know. I always wonder why Ableton don't create an app. Well, they've done these things where they ask on Twitter, like, "Hey, would you like to see something on iOS from us?" And there's a lot of response, but the response is kind of small. And then you have to think about it, like if they looked at that last year and decided, okay, we're going to do something. Well, it's only been a year, right? It's only been a year. And if they're trying to make something like that, something mobile like Ableton Live, then I think it's going to take longer than a year, depending on how they go about it. And if it comes to iOS, do you really think you're going to get that full experience of Ableton Live? I think you have to get that idea out of your head. They're probably gonna stream it down somehow. The only reason to why someone like Roland for instance have the same type of app both for desktop and for mobile was because they purchased something like that. It was already made like that by a smaller company. And if you look at bigger companies, they'll make something more streamlined for mobile and then something bigger on desktop. All these companies, of course, want you to jump over to a bigger platform and start buying their stuff there. I don't know. I don't think we're gonna see the full thing. And RAM-wise, Ableton, I don't think it can run even on the newest iPad because of how iOS handles RAM. And I'm not the only one saying that. I get this from developers working on iOS. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure. We could get something, along those lines. And I'm thinking, why don't they just start making a MIDI looper first, and then some simpler wave looper? It doesn't have to be the full suite. It can start out with something like that. And if they do, we'll probably most likely see a lot of in-app purchases. And there might be stuff locked down. You know how this goes. You've seen it before. A big company releases an app, and then suddenly something is either locked behind a paywall, or you have to pay for the pro stuff to get the pro experience, which will then give you audio import and stuff like that. I get why they do that. They have to justify being able to put in money into a project so that it gives money back to the company. If it just bleeds money, then there's no point. There's no point. If a project bleeds money for a company, they'll just abandon it, which is a smart move for a company. It's not that they're just greedy, they also have to make it work. Now, I'm not saying that there are no greedy companies out there. We've seen companies do greedy stuff. But to think that all of them are doing it is just downright wrong. You have to make it work. You do have people on a payroll you have to pay. And just like the Cubasis team, I don't know exactly how many they are, but I think there's at least 5 or 6 of them just working on stuff like that. And they can't be working on mobile all the time. They're some of the top programmers they have over Steinberg, so they also have to work on Cubase stuff, right? For the big desktop. That's where they're getting all their money from, not from Cubases. So, I don't know. What do you think? Oh, what's up, Mobile Music Pro? We got Vortex in the house. How is that new iPad 2020 iPad working out for you? Have you started getting annoyed? Maybe, I don't know. Maybe you don't walk around with your iPad a lot like I do, but the thing that annoys me a lot is this and switching between LumaFusion and Cubasis, because when you do that, these things, all of my dongles crash, and I many times have to start like restart my iPad. I never had to do that with the other iPad, because as soon as you unplug something from the USB, from the Lightning, it always prioritizes the headphone port instantly. So you always have something to listen on. You can open a new app, no problem. It doesn't happen over here because everything behaves like a sound card, and sometimes it just locks into a sample frequency, it seems. And so it crashes everything up, especially if you're working with Cubasis. It locks it into a certain bit rate and a sample rate, and then you try to open LumaFusion, which was, when you left it, was left at another sample rate and another bit rate, and then it crashes, and so you have to restart it and then plug this in. It's horrible. Have you had any problems like that? Oh, you edit videos on the PC. Yeah, but it doesn't matter, Vortex. Do you have any problems with other apps? Other apps like plugging your USB dongle to the iPad. Have you had that happen to you? I don't know how many dongles you have to try with, but Jesus, it can be so horrible trying to do that stuff. Apple screwed up the sample rate thing with the new iPads. Yes, they did. Yes, they did, because it's causing me problems all the time. Okay, okay. I don't want this to turn into a damn you Apple rant. I've had enough of those. I've done enough of those. So, I want Groovebox to let you add unlimited instruments and longer tracks. It's right down here. And that's very specific, and there's a lot of specific stuff. But something like this: return sends to show up as tracks in all iOS DAWs to be able to add more effects and process to the sense. Yeah, I get it. Like, more routing abilities in DAWs overall. Like, that's something that feels more pro, going towards a more pro thing. That's why we asked for groups or subgroups in Cubase or Cubases. I mean, wow. Do you know how much I miss working with Cubase? many times? Do you know how much I miss it? Simple things I want to do, I just can't. So I have to find a workaround, and sometimes there aren't any workarounds for the things I want to do, so I just skip it. I don't do that, and I find something else to do, which makes me more creative now. But some of the things, some of the things. Oh, you have the same iPad as me. I thought you said you were gonna get the new. Oh, maybe. Okay, so you have the same as me. Are you gonna get the new one? Vortex. Full audio and MIDI routing EQ basis. Yeah, that would be nice. Hello, Sion. Our day is going really, really well. Hustle James misses Logic. Yeah, here's another infected discussion. Well, it's not infected, but Logic for iOS. Is that something Apple would do now? Well, I still don't know what to say about that, because I look at GarageBand and I look at how much they've tried to make GarageBand kind of look Logic as logically Logic like. I don't know. I don't know. Will Apple do that? I mean, they should for everyone, right? Not getting the 2020. Refurbished 2018. Sticking with it unless at least 2022. Yeah, that's a good plan. That's a very good plan. At a time you can get something from the year before and find it refurbished, or even like someone selling it like secondhand, like I did here, or to. I mean, it's a smart way of saving money to buy dongles, because dongles aren't cheap. You can get cheaper ones now because USB-C doesn't need to be MFI certified. But Ben in his video mentioned something about that, because since stuff don't need to be MFI certified, it's hard to know if something will work or not, because before you could just buy Apple stuff and it would always work. But I think it works a little bit differently, and many times when people have connection errors, it usually is power, usually is in 80% of the cases, or in the other 20% that it's not class compliant and they haven't checked that out. I don't know. It could be. That's why I want to talk with Ben so much. I want to see exactly what is done. The advanced features of Logic are drastically too complex and obtuse for an iPad. In order to bring it to iOS, they need to streamline and or remove those features. That's called GarageBand. You see what I mean? I'm thinking that too. I mean, I've used Logic in Pro Studios, and whenever I did, I couldn't sit behind the control desk because I hated that program. Don't hate me for it. I grew up with Cubase, okay? I'm a Cubase person, and Apple computers didn't come into my life until I started going to other studios. So I didn't hate the software because of what it did, because it was amazing. I hated to interact with it. You see? It's like interacting with someone that's trying to slap you all the time. Well, that's what it felt like, because I didn't understand it or know how to work it. So it's my fault. But yeah, I hated working with it. So someone else always had to. And wow, it's a great piece of software. It's got everything, but it's so much. And fitting that into the iPad, and then again with the RAM requirements for some of these apps. It's like someone asked for an app. Which one is it? Let's see here. I can't find it. Where is it? Someone who asked for something, a big app. I can't remember what it was, but it's a vocal synthesizer. Well, it's not. It's a vocal sampler or vocal rompler app, and the minimum requirements just for running that software. It's a compact instrument. The minimum requirement is 4 gigabytes of RAM. Okay. You cannot, even if you try to run something like that on the latest iPad with 6 gigabytes of RAM, you cannot run it because you don't have 6 gigabytes of RAM. Now, I've talked to developers because I thought you were limited to 528 megabytes of RAM, and that turns out to be somewhat true. But in some cases, you can go as high as up to a gigabyte, but it's not stable. All right, so that's what I found out. So you can count on having up to 528 megabytes of RAM over for music apps on iOS 14 on an latest iPad 2020 Pro. Okay, and the further you go down, the smaller that megabyte goes down. So for something that requires 4 gigabytes to run, you can't. So you have to make it smaller, make it more portable, and remove features and remove samples and do this and that, and suddenly you have this, slimmed version of something. This is why I think it's hard to make stuff for desktop, porting it over just directly, unless it's something else, a synthesizer or something that isn't relying on heavy loads of RAM. Now, iOS don't work the same way as a PC, for instance, because it doesn't collect garbage data like a PC does, and that's why you need so much RAM. Android does that too. It collects garbage data, and you need a lot of RAM to hold that data, that garbage data. Read up about it. It's described on several sites all over the web if you want to know how that works. iOS don't do that, and that's why they're able to run stuff and have stuff be just as fast as maybe Android phones, even though the RAM situation looks so weird. You have like a 2 gigabyte phone over here, and then you have an 8 gigabyte phone over here with Android, and then like they're just as fast. How come? Because of how they work. They work differently. People just want people just want Lucas. People just want Lucas because they think they're supposed to. I read, but you meant Logic. Yeah, I get that. I'm not sure that that's the case actually, because some of the people I talk to are actually people who, like myself, have been working in professional environment with such tools and misses that. And then there are some that maybe just want it for rumors, and then there are some that wants to test out something other than what they've already done here. So I don't think we can pull everyone over the same comb. Can you say that in English? Pulling everyone over the same comb? It's something we say in Swedish. It means judging everyone the same. You shouldn't. Man ska inte dra alla över samma kam. You shouldn't pull everybody over the same comb. I don't think you say that in English. I want it for routing and other features. I don't care if it had every single features. But the logic routing is really bad. Okay, this is an interesting thing. Mike, why don't you tell everyone why you think it's bad? Explaining why you think it's bad gives us a reason to try to understand also, and makes us more interested. So if you describe it for us, because I'm super interested, and I'm sure that the other people here are also super interested. So if you can describe it somehow, put it out there. I keep my eye on the chat forum so I can see what's happening. Chat forum? I'm from 1995. I'm still stuck in 1995, people. Yeah, like this is like it still feels like I'm doing stuff on IRC or IRCQ, ICQ, Mirk, Mirk, MIRC, Mirk. How do? That's not Mirk. That's Mark. Mirk. Okay, so I want to read this one. Most important thing we need is Apple stop effing up iOS and iOS devices more and more so that they are less usable for making music. Raise subject, if you're ever watching this, I can somewhat get what you mean, especially with the latest iPads, these ones, because I mean, you can't see this right now, but there it is, right? Especially with these ones, because there's been so much when they released iOS 14 and all the glitches and bugs there with the AV3 and the sound cards that stopped functioning, and then you remove the headphone jack and you try to make it look as if it's the same, but it's not, because now you're having problems just plugging stuff in and out and getting that to work properly. And if you think about this, people, I've found that the most stable way of using this is plugging one thing in and not touching it. And I think this is a bullshit theory from me. It's not even a theory. It's not even conjecture from me. Okay, so don't take it I'm just gonna talk out of my a hole here. So think about how Apple is marketing these. Okay, the pictures of the new iPad Pros are on this super expensive stand with a keyboard, with a keyboard. Okay, it floats the iPad in the air. It looks like a laptop slash stationary computer. As long as you use it like that, you're fine. Don't ever pick it up. Don't ever walk with it. Don't plug anything into it or out of it. Use wireless, and don't do music because wireless doesn't work. But then again, someone told me they made a whole track with wireless earbuds and it wasn't too painful. Now I've tried that. It it did not work for me, okay? Okay? It didn't work. But for some people, they have the patience to do that. Jamie says, I think that if we are to move forward as iOS musician, then we have to make the best of what we have on the platform instead of dreaming of magic apps that will not happen. Makes you think creatively. Use what you have is exactly what I've been doing. Absolutely, and I do agree with you, Jamie. I've gotten most of the best things I've done on this platform have been because I've been thinking creatively, trying to get out of the box. It's just that sometimes some of these other features would be nice. So in my case, it's not F you, Apple. Go away. In my case, it's not so much that, oh god, that annoys, oh, that makes me furious. Stop with your stupid pop-ups. I don't care about your stupid pop-ups. Could you see that even? Or am I just raging about something? You're wondering, like, what the hell just happened to Jacob? Is he going mad now? Uh, I even got off track here. But for me, if they could take what's already there and just improve upon it, that would be enough for me to keep get it going. I'm not saying that I'm gonna stop, but it's some of the things I wanted to do. I've stopped even trying to do them because I just simply have no way of doing it. Like routing stuff. Any. It's so frustrating not having AUV3 multi IO. Did you know that multi in and out AUV3 has been available since AUV2? Many years. It's just that no one utilized it. And there's only still one app using it. I thought there were two, but I thought wrong because I now researched it and I saw that that wasn't what it was. So there is just AUM. We need more apps to have that. Hustle James, I have the hyperdrive dongle, namely for audio jack. Audio jack. Audio jack. Audio jack? What are you talking about now? Because now I'm remembering something. Before there was this app called something else, before Audio Bus. Wasn't there something called Audio Jack before Audio Bus? And then Audio Bus came and Audio Jack just disappeared. But maybe that's not what you're talking about. Sorry, Samuel, du har helt rätt. Ape Matrix also had that multi-IO support for AUV3. So there are two. But if you think about it, those apps are very much alike. The DAWs that we need to use it in, they still need that. Rob Art says, first I'd like an update to ModStep, and I don't think that's going to happen, Rob Art, if you're watching this, or a new MIDI clip grid app. And I think I answered that guy, or I don't know if it is a guy, I shouldn't be assuming it, but I answered that person that you should look into LK by Imaginando, because that does that. What more? I want actual physical knobs, but I don't want wires, and I don't want a huge piece of gear. Innovative controllers. Oh, so you're asking for new controllers. Yeah, okay. So that's a hardware thing, though. Okay, so this is interesting. Matthias Hellquist is a guy that's been following my channel for a very long time. I don't know if Matthias is in the chat right now, but um, all apps that uses presets in any way, shape, or form should ideally be built for support for patch storage. And you know, I get that. Being able to share your patches with everyone like that, it would be nice. But that's up to the developers, right? I mean, the users would have to ask for it. And sometimes when you start developing an app, if you don't think about utilizing or doing something from the beginning when you're starting development, it might be not impossible, but so hard and so cumbersome to put it in afterwards that you simply don't do it because it's not worth it. I've found that out myself working on Agonizer, right? So I've had to, skip ideas because we didn't think about it from the beginning, and then Kairos explained to me how we had to go about that. And when I realized that, and realized that all of the presets in there would be completely destroyed if I tried to do that, then I said, no, we're not doing that. We'll find something else to do. And we did. We found something else to do. And we're currently working on an iPhone version. Yep. Currently working on an iPhone version. Can't tell you when that comes out, though. Don't expect it soon. But we're working on it for Agonizer, so that's cool. Decent iOS app alternatives to Easy Drummer and Easy Keys. That's also a specific thing you're asking for there. Easy Drummer. Wait, Easy Drummer? App alternatives. Easy Drum. Isn't there an Easy Drummer app on iOS? Am I remembering wrong? Anyone here can answer that? Can anyone answer Derek D there? Because I thought there were Easy Drummer stuff on iOS. Or maybe you're talking about desktop alternatives? I'm confused now. I'm sorry, Derek. Drum Perfect Pro for Easy Drummer. Mike Lucas has some answers for you, Derek. I really wanted to get on with Cubase 3, but I never end up creating anything good. GarageBand is quick at ideas, but I get fed up with loop matching, and Core Gadget just need the audio bounce automation. All right, Nick P. So, Nick P, you haven't found a perfect music platform yet for you. That's the thing. So, why don't you end up creating anything good with Cubase 3? There is clearly something there keeping you back. What is it? Is it can you identify it? Because if you can identify it, you have a way forward, and you can then ask more specific questions in forums and to me and other people like me, YouTubers, and people knowing more about this platform, like the iPad Musician Group, Audiobus Forum. There's loads of people out there. So what is it that makes it hard for you? Is it the tools, the environment, the way stuff move, sounds? What? Give us some meat. Yeah, Blocks Wave is really, really nice when you want to do stretching and pitch shifting and stuff. But the only problem you have then is that you're using a second or a third app to do all that and then export that into whatever. Yeah, it's a workaround. Cubase does stretching. I just think that somehow Blocks Wave does it a little bit better. It's the fact that AUV3 apps crash a lot. I can't argue with you there. And after the latest update, my performance on my iPad Pro has been more stable. But it wasn't as stable on my other iPad, my iPad Pro 12.9 inch. So I don't know what's going on. And at this point, I don't know if it's iOS 14 or if it's something else, because everything on iOS 14 works a little bit worse for me. I still keep my old iPad, my iPad Pro 12.9 inch, you know, the 2015 one, the first gen iPad Pro. I still keep that one on iOS 13.4, I think, 13.4, and then this one is on iOS 14.3, the new iPad I have. I'm unsure. Here again, Peter James, we need vocal plugins, pitch correction, and Melodyne-like tools. I keep seeing Melodyne mentioned in all 4 videos I've made about this every year in January. I put out this video, Melodyne, 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 and it's usually more than 1 or 3 or 4 or 5 comments, and this time it's been other people I haven't seen commented before. Someone needs to tell the Melodyne people, or Avid if they own them, or if they own the studio making Melodyne, someone needs to tell them that there is a crowd here for Melodyne. And I would buy it. I would definitely buy Melodyne if you could get it for iPad, even if it's a bit more slimmed down. I don't care, you know, just something, because Melodyne has done that type of game well for many, many years. Audio Evolution has an autotune. Yeah, autotune is not the same thing as Melodyne. And autotune is an effect I absolutely do not like at all. I love vocoders. I like vocal effects of many sorts. But I've never liked autotune when you use it as a musical instrument. I never liked that. I love a lot of trap music, but I cannot listen to any trap music where there's these crazy sounds like someone is hitting all the keys at once and there's auto-tuning. I'd rather just hear the rapper's voice on voice instead of that incessant auto-tune thing. I'm sorry, I loathe it. I can't stand it. I love vocal effects of many sorts, and like I said, vocoders, which is a completely different effect. I love that, but the crazy going like this on the keyboard with autotune just makes me vomit inside in my brain. My brain vomits. I'm sorry. It comes out of my nose, and oh, maybe that's too graphical for you. I'm sorry about that. Waves is the classic autotune sound. I remember those crashes with Cakewalk on the PC, but never had crashes with Reason, still the Daddy Music app. Nick P, were you using PC? No crashes with Reason? I have had a lot of them, but then again, I built all my PCs myself. Might be my fault. Any app, any piece of software that I've ever used, any game I've ever played, I've had crashes with all of them on PC. On old Macs, I never had any crashes, apart from one crash one time in a studio, or two. And I think it was from us plugging and unplugging a sound card. We had kind of like Apple's version of a blue screen. Only 2 times. But since they turned over to like Intel processors, I've seen loads of crashes. I've seen loads of them. Ugh, restarts. Sudden restarts, crashing, not connecting stuff properly. Ugh, AirDrop stopping to function for some reason. I don't know what it is. Hello, Matt Voitan. Hello, Matt. How you doing, man? No worries. Vomit, mumble rap. Mumble rap I can't stand at all. For crying out loud, even if your lyrics are bad, at least let me hear them. Stop mumbling. Stop feeding on the mic. Stop putting the mic in your mouth. You see, if you're singing, so everyone can take this advice. If you're singing and you're opening your mouth up wide, when you start feeling a weird fabric hitting the back of your throat like this, take it out. Take out the mic, because we'll be able to hear you better. Don't do that. Don't do mumble rap. No. I don't care if you sound bad. I don't care if your lyrics are absolute whack. Just do it the way that nature gave you your voice, the way that you were born, you know? Use that. I respect that. I respect people trying with what they've got. And sometimes a creative effect is a creative effect. It's just that in this in this case with the auto tuning, I can't stand it. And it's fun because I have friends that they put out whole albums with that stuff, and whenever I come in there, they're always laughing at me because they know this guy. Now comes this potty mouth Jakob, and he's gonna talk smack about our music for half an hour before he leaves. I can't help it. But then again, they talk shit about my music, and that's kind of the jargon we have. We have a lot of fun, and I love those guys. And they have good voices. It's too bad they want to make them sound shitty. That's what I always tell them. Like you sing as if you're a god. Why do you want to sound as if someone like drove a spike through your throat? Why do you want to sound as if someone tried to if someone did something, they operated on you or something, they did something weird to you, now you're not functioning properly? Why do you want to sound like that? You have a beautiful voice, dude. And he just laughs at me. He absolutely loves that autotune, and he always tells them to drive it up even more. I've seen the guy literally just randomly hit some keys, and he's like, ooh, this sounds cool. I can't stand it. I don't get him. I'm gonna show this clip to him. I haven't been able to meet any people now for quite some time because of C19, you know. I'm doing fine, Matt. Heading to work in a minute. Couldn't sleep for no damn reason. Happy to have you in my head. Yes, just don't leave with me in your head. That could lead to long-term damages, I've heard. Because I know I've been in my head my whole life, and you can see the state of me. Autotune gets a bad name because of the people that use it to the extreme. Yeah, back in the days, we used autotune for some singers. Imagine this, they've been doing vocal performances because they need to get that album out before their tour, alright? So we bring in autotune to fix some of the notes when they're getting tired in their voices and they can't hold a note for long enough. We've used autotune. You can't hear it. That's what it was made for, basically. But then someone, when they were very high or very drunk, started hitting the keyboards when they were singing and just blended in the autotune like at maximum and just floored it. And then like, let's add some beats to this, and then there's a hit, you know, because that's cool. Oh, people who make that kind of music are gonna hate me for it, and you know that's okay. You want to hate me for it? I think it's ridiculous hating someone for that. I don't hate my friends for doing that to their music. I just hate the sound of it. It doesn't make me hate them. That's just stupid. I mean, difference of opinions is the most important thing we have here in the world, like humans, that we are different, right? Why would we all want to be the same? That sounds really boring to me. Really boring. Have y'all ever seen THX 1138? 1138? I love that movie. You wouldn't want the world to be like that. You do not want the world to be like that. If you've never seen that movie, go watch it. Do you know of any devs who would be happy to create an Allihopa-like platform for iOS where you could collab? Yeah, okay. I know a lot of developers that have talked to me about something like that, and the reason to why they always, in the end, after talking to me, now I'm gonna make it sound as if I'm destroying platforms here before they even pop out. What I always tell them is, number one, you're making something now that is relying on other groups. So you have to have a good repertoire with other companies. Now, you have to find out how much work you're willing to put in, and you have to find out how you're going to drive that and make that company work out. If you're going to go with the free model, that never really works out. Unless you have something funding it, or unless you have a job that allows you to spend a lot of time that you have. If you don't have a family, you don't have a job that takes your whole 24 hours, then maybe you have time to do it for free, but free can only take you so far because there will be costs for doing things like this. And if you grow, you're gonna need people. Now, are you gonna do the ad way? Are you gonna do sponsor way? Are you gonna do crowdfunding? All of these things have problems coming with them. I know some of them because you could say partially crowdfunded because patron. So I love my patrons, so I'm partially crowdfunded. I'm partially driven by ads, and then whatever I don't make enough, because I don't make enough to make it. So I have to find other ways to do that. So now I'm working all day around. Okay, so I'm working the whole day, 7 days a week, and that's just the way it is. Okay, so it's a choice I've made. The problem is when people hear that, that's not the choice they want to make. They want to be able to turn off after 9-10 hours at least. They want to be able to turn off and do that. And you can't really do that with a platform that big. When it grows, the more people you get, the more moderation you're going to need, stopping people from uploading copyrighted material. These things cost you a shitload of money. And if you don't fix that from the start, then you might be sued. And that can cost you your life, especially if it's your own company. Whenever I talk to people about this, the only way this would work, look at SoundCloud. How many times have they had to be saved by having someone throw money at them? How many times? And that's a pretty big, large platform. The reason to why Allihopa died was because they weren't making money, so they couldn't pay all those people. I went down to their offices. They had at least 8 people in there. Now calculate salaries for 8 people for a year. And if you're paying them, where does the money come from? Of course, Propelhead would drop that. And so it became its own company. Allihopa became its own thing and was separated from Propelhead. And then they went away, which is a damn shame. I loved that platform. But it didn't work because we weren't paying him. Ads weren't paying them. And they weren't crowdsourced or crowdfunded. The money ran out. Most likely that's what happened. So if someone ever makes something like that, it would have to be a company with a good plan. And we might not like what that price model would look like, if there would be one. And if there's no price model, we're paying through other means. Maybe you play your songs and in the middle of them, ads play. You see what I mean? So I'm not sure. I would have, yeah. I mean, I would have subscribed too for a platform like that because that platform was very nice. But did you know that they had problems with people uploading copyrighted material? I mean, that's something they didn't really think about in the beginning. They didn't, and I get that. Many companies don't do that, even though they are well versed within the area of copyright and doing music. They don't think that people are gonna start doing that because it doesn't even hit them that might actually happen. We've seen this before. We've seen it, and YouTube took care of that very early, and now we're seeing Twitch being hit by it. And I see so many Twitch streamers get angry at music companies. And the funny thing is that I don't understand this. I don't understand why they're angry, because they should be angry at Twitch for not telling them that you're currently breaking the law and this is going to hit us, and soon we're going to have to do something about this. This is Twitch's fault. It's the management over at Twitch, and Twitch is a streaming company. It's a streaming platform, the biggest one in the universe. I almost said that might not be true. We don't know, but yeah, Twitch should have known about this. Don't tell me Twitch didn't know about YouTube and how that works. They have not been informing their streamers that they can't do these things because this has always been illegal. And YouTubers know this. We've known this for a long time, and we were already dealing with that. We sign up to music services and everything, but Twitch streamers haven't. So it's not their fault for not knowing, because many of these people are kids. And they need to be told this. And Twitch didn't tell them. And now Twitch is hurting these streamers and their livelihood because of it. It's all Twitch's fault. I'm so mad at Twitch. So these kids shouldn't be mad at the music companies right now. They should be mad at Twitch. Didn't YouTube get around that by paying the copyright holder from the ads? I don't know exactly how YouTube did it, but they're definitely following the laws now, and they're doing the best they can. And you you know, we complain many times about YouTube and how bad it is because an algorithm is doing everything. I think it's I think we're being a bit unfair because that algorithm has to take care of all of that. First, find everything illegal that might be uploaded. If it is some horrible stuff, you know, about people being hurt or violent stuff getting uploaded, or you know, things between two humans consensually doing something, stuff like that gets uploaded to YouTube sometimes. The algorithm has to find out all of these things and at the same time scan our videos, at the same time check our comments. I don't know how big of a computer you need to do what Google does, but it's massive, which is probably why they have it at the bottom of the ocean so that they can cool it properly. Otherwise, that thing would be hot as hell, like a literal volcano pit. So I think we're being a bit unfair, and Twitch don't have anything like this implemented. I know I'm going off on a tangent here. Young people don't know what copyright is, and that's true. Many of them do not understand this. They think they're entitled to a lot of things today, and we have not we failed in telling them and explaining it to them, because when I was young, my parents explained stuff like that to me. Go figure. It was a common thing, but ever since internet, you know, what we're seeing right now, everything that YouTube is doing, everything that Twitch is doing, everything that Twitter is doing, we are now starting to see companies actually starting to parent on their platforms, and it's hitting the rest of us, the ones that are grown up and know how to handle ourselves. I'm not saying that everyone is, but you know what I mean. We have all of our kids on the internet today, and we have no oversight. It's not like we did it back in the day where our mothers and fathers used to check us over in the playgrounds and really, you know, hang with us. Today I see parents mostly on their phone if they're out with their kids. They're not paying attention to their kids. And whenever the kids come home, they're in front of their phones and stuff. All the time in school, when they're out eating at lunch, I see before the C19 thing, I see 10 kids sitting at a cafe, but they're not talking to each other. I didn't even know that they knew each other. I thought they were there by themselves until they started speaking to each other, which happened after like what, 15 minutes or something. There's no oversight. It's too easy to get hurt on the internet, you know, in weird ways with some really sick people. And there's no oversight. There's been no regulations, no nothing. And now we're seeing YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter and Instagram starting to implement these things. And for us, you know, it feels like, oh, it's gonna go bad. But I think that's the future. We're gonna see that on every platform until it becomes really bad. It's gonna get bad at some point because, you know, maybe I'm just being conspiracy nut now. I don't know. Sound test just went live. It's an act of aggression. No, it's not an act of aggression. That guy can go live whenever he wants. And that's the thing. I never really care when people upload videos or go live or stuff. The only time I care about something is when I've just finished a video and I see that maybe someone posted something like that same day. Then I usually wait a few days and I post it later. That's the only time, but I usually do not care. I do things my way when I want, and so does Doug, and he should. So should everyone. You know, do it whenever. Mm. So once again, I've gotten off topic, and I don't know if I need to apologize for that. I always feel like I have to apologize for it, you know, because I write one thing in the title, but we have been talking about the future of iOS, definitely, And I want to keep doing that. The future of iOS. I mean, this thing with the pitch correction and everything, and I mean, how many of you are right now feeling that maybe iOS has taken you as far as you can go, and maybe you're starting to feel like maybe I want to look at something else? How many of you recently just got into iOS? Chat it out. I really want to see. What's his stream? Damn you, Samuel. War? Someone just wrote out war. Mike Lucas. You're probably referencing something I said earlier, but I just found it funny. I'm looking and all it says is war. War. It's like Mike Lucas is on the war path now. He's gonna do some. He's gonna smash some skulls here. TikTok is marketing platform so the songs get exposure. Yeah, and I think they've got some kind of deal at least or something. I think don't they have like a library or something like that? I have Renoise Logic Pro and I use my Air 2 as a sound module. 8 months now. Autobite. But I can't read that word. I know it looks like German to me, but I all I can uh, read is Arbeit or Arbeiter, like arbetare in Swedish. That's the same word. I feel there's a lot more things to learn. I have a lot of apps that I want to learn how to use. Yeah, Sion, I get that. I mean, there were 119 FX plugins released last year. That's just the FX plugins. I am not mentioning any DAWs or any drum machines, any synthesizers, just the FX plugins. Those were the ones I could find. And I've gotten some of them, because I had to do some research. I just wish I had more time just to get to know some of them a little bit more. Like Drum Computer, come on. Ooh. TikTok have copyright covered. They've got stuff. They got my stuff on there. Ooh, they do. If I ever get a TikTok or an OnlyFans, of course, I should get an OnlyFans, right? Wouldn't you guys subscribe to that if I? I know we talked about this before. I think it's a bad idea. An OnlyFans for Jakob. Kind of, but there's still stuff on iOS I miss just as much as on desktop. I really want an M1 eventually to finalize mixes and add final touches. Yeah, I've been watching Pete John's streams when he uses M1, and also uh, uh, what's her name? Jade. Jade has also been streaming something about that. I think I'm looking. I'm looking into it. About the M1s, but it's not something I could afford like now. I'll probably buy a used one in 2 years or something. I bought the iPad Pro 2020, but I'm seriously thinking of moving to the M1 Air. All right, but I so love the touch production way working. Well, you still have the 2020 unless you sell that to buy the M1, um, because you could always use them in tandem, together somehow. The touch thing, and I do miss that. Someone did comment here in one of these that they miss a lot of the older apps made back in the days that were specifically made for iOS. Like Borderlands Granular, like Sampler, like TC11, apps like that. Open up on the screen and just utilizes touch to the maximum. I miss those apps. I want to see more apps like that. I used them together a lot. All right. Naked Jacob, I'm blind. You don't know that, Samuel. You might actually see something you like. I look pretty good in a tanga. Jacob after hours? Yeah, after hours. I could grind coffee and wearing nothing but I can't even a cowboy hat maybe. Cowboy hat and boots. Cowboy hat, bat, a cowboy bat, hats, boots, and bats. Something like that, I think. Logic Remote is incredible. IDEM works very well. Yeah, I've tried IDEM over at here, and I've made it work with the iPad. I haven't tried any multi-channel though. I think that's only stereo, right? Back and forth, but that's enough for you to actually do stuff. An IDAM, for anyone who doesn't know, is a way of connecting just a cable between your iPad or iPhone to the MacBook, and then using that as a sound card, so you get the sound right in, so you can route that as routing options inside your DAWs and stuff on the Mac. Internal screaming, Mr. Gumby or Gum60, Mr. Gum60, Mr. Gumsy, Mr. Mr. Gumphy. Internal screaming. Oh, you're talking about me naked? I'm offended. I am thoroughly offended. I look rather good in spandex suits. I was already I was already I was ready to give up on iOS music for Logic. Too much bugs and features, but stuff like Mixbox for way cheaper than VST hooked me. Ooh, yeah, that Mixbox is pretty cool though. It's ending up on my top list for FX apps. So yeah, I'll talk more about it there. Stereo or two mono for the IDAM. Yeah, that's right. Now, would you keep the catchphrase "Now go finger your stuff" if I did an OnlyFans? What do you think? What do you think? Hmm? I think you've seen enough of my material to know what I would do. Gumby, Mr. Gumby. I used to use Audreo, AudioMux, Music IO, and Apollo stuff. Yeah, Hustle, I tried doing that too, but I could never get it to run stable. And the ones that I really wanted to run stable was AudioMux, and somehow it just doesn't work for me, and I don't know why. I've seen videos where people get it to work perfectly, and I either don't my inputs and outputs don't show up, and then they show up and then they disappear, stuff like that. I'm wondering if it could have something to do with like poor cables or something. I haven't been able to properly what do you call it, debug it, so it's kind of annoying. Yeah. Another great app. I'm wondering about the state of inter-app audio apps in the future updates. Some apps in iOS 14 aren't working as well as before in 13. Yeah, okay, so nothing is working as well in iOS 14, Sion. That is not false. It's a true statement. At least on my side, everything in iOS 14 is just it's going down the drain. It's not that bad, I know. And some people say you're lying, Jacob. No, no. I have performance issues. I know because I used when I it just no. iOS 14, no, no. But the future of interrupt audio. Sion, I did do a video about that where I explained how developers think about it, because I talked to developers, about that certain thing, especially to the audio bus and other devs. And the thing is, there are things inside iOS today that were deprecated. Today it will be 10 years ago. They were deprecated and they're still used, meaning they haven't removed them yet. Deprecated means that they want to push developers over to something else. In this case, it's AUV3. I get it. It's good for the future for them. So they won't keep updating Interrupt Audio and make more stuff with it. So whatever state it's in now, that's the state it is, and then developer can choose to implement it or not. Some people do. I told Kai to do that, but if I hadn't told him, he wouldn't have. All right, he wasn't gonna do that until I told him how I use my apps, and then he said, "Fine, I'll do it. You're just adding more to do on my list." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's what I'm here for. That's what I'm gonna get paid for in the end, giving you work." So he did. But we are gonna see less and less apps using it, even if it's gonna be there. But it might still be there in 3 years' time from now. It's just that developers aren't using it anymore. So don't rely on interrupt audio for the future. I hate saying that line. if you are worried, Sion, or anyone else, keep an iPad or an iPhone at a certain iOS. Don't update it. Keep your apps like they are, as they are. Get a new one if you can afford it, and keep updating that one. That's what I've done. My old iPad Pro 12.9 inch is not getting an update. It sticks on 13.4. My old iPad Mini 1 is stuck on iOS, what is it, 12 or 10, 11? I can't remember now. 12, I think. My old iPad Mini 1 is stuck on 9. And you can't even upgrade that more now. And the Mini 2 can't be upgraded either. That's kind of what you kind of become a collector of iDevices. You get a collector. You know, you become a collector, basically. If you want to rely on interrupt audio stuff, if that's important to you, then you want to save an iPad with that on, or an iPhone. You do, because when something is gone, it's gone. Like apps, they can just disappear, you know, when stuff get updated. For instance, back when iOS went from 32-bit to 64, is that right? Yeah, okay, to 64, then a lot of apps were removed that were old, and if developers didn't update their apps, they would be removed. And that happened. We lost a lot of good apps that I still use because I still have them on my iPad Mini 2 and Mini 1. So I don't think there is a big future for it, but I don't know. And when it comes to Audiobus, I can't say for sure. They might still be implementing interrupt audio because they helped developing that. They helped making that, you know? Did you see Ben Jordan's video on iPad Music? Yes, Megami, we talked about that just before you came in, probably. Yeah, I saw it. And if you're following me, I want people to follow me on Instagram because I love Instagram. Actually, I don't love Instagram. I love seeing you on Instagram. You people, okay? You, when you do music stuff. And I love interacting with you there. It's fun, more fun because it's so instant. The Instagram thing is very instant. I get the name now, finally. I'm so stupid. Instagram, I get it. I get it. It's instant. It's an instant telegram. Well, it's not a telegram. It's an instant video or a picture or something like that. But I completely get it now, and I love it. But on Twitter, I had a conversation even, and I told Ben that I wanted to have a live chat with him because I agree with him in his video. And even though I agree with him, and we have come to two different conclusions, and that's a fun discussion to have. Because I don't think that he's wrong in saying what he did. He's absolutely right, depending on who you are, not to buy just an iPad for music making, depending on who you are. You're absolutely right in saying that. And if someone asked me, I would say, yeah, sure, get it just for music making. And we have two different ways of viewing it. And we've gone through the same type of testing and everything. Neither of us are wrong. Neither of us are right. Whatever fits people will fit people. That's why I think it would be fun to have a conversation with him live. He said yes, but I don't know if he has time. So I told him, I sent him a DM over Twitter and said, here's my email. Whenever you feel like you have time, hit me up. So if he has time, which he might not, which I'm okay with, no animosity there, no me thinking that he doesn't like me or anything. It's just, if he has time, there will be something. And I hope there will be something, because that would be fun. I could see the frustration in his face. He's really done all these tests and everything. I was laughing when I saw the video because I know. And I've done those tests, all those tests, most of them that I've been doing. Well, not most of them, but some of them are available as videos on my channel. People can see what that entails, how long it can take for you to test something properly. This is how I know this platform so well, about power and how that works depending on your dongles and stuff like that. All the testing. That guy has definitely done it. The frustration, the Apple frustration vein was showing on his face. I'm bummed that Wolfgang Palm quit iOS. Yeah, well, he couldn't really quit, Samuel. 2 weeks after he said he was going to quit, he put up something new on Facebook, and like, oh, I couldn't really stay away. I'm doing this now. So I don't know if he's quit. Maybe he didn't. Maybe it's hard for someone like that to quit. He's been doing it his whole life, you know, not iOS, but making stuff. How do you stop doing that when that's your life? iConnect is the best way to do it on non-Mac since Studio Mux is abandoned. iConnect is one of those things that I've wanted to get myself, but I can't justify the price right now because I need something else. I want to switch out a sound card that I have here from a company that I don't want to support, and I got to do that first. And before that, I got to get something else. And here's the thing. You know how I told you that I got this one on an auction site at a very, very low price? Yeah, so I saved money. I could buy some dongles, and I'm now saving money again because there's another type of device I really need to get because I want to make videos about it, and it is I want to get an Android device that is a bit more powerful. And the only way I can do that is by buying it, you know, either refurbished or, you know, someone selling it at an auction site, hunting for it the same way I did with this one, and then I can get a powerful model, but for a low price because I don't have that much money. So I am going to be getting an Android device at some point, and now finally I have the means of doing that, and I've seen how I can get that to work. So that's something I want to get to. It would be fun comparing these platforms, and I need to make a new video because my old why does Android apps don't get any music apps. There's a lot of people angry at me saying that there are apps out there. They seem to be missing the complete point, the entire point of that video. The entire point of the video, if you actually watch it, is that there is a reason to why app developers choose to code for Apple. Now, most of us know why. Most of us. And if you are in the audience and you don't know, it's because it's established. Audio jack, audio bus, interrupt audio, AUV3, there's been so much development on just that, getting apps to talk to one another. And on Android, there is actually something called audio route. And I talked to the developer again, and that's the same developer that does N-Track, okay? N-Track Studio. Same developer. He even went as far as to make that code open source. So any developer on Android can take that code and implement it and now have something that looks like Audio Bus on Android. But there's only been one, in 2 years, only one developer has done that. And I need to get that word out there to make developers realize on Android that there is an open source code for making something like Audio Bus on Android now. There is. There finally is. And it's been there for 2 years. Almost 3. So I want that Android to test that out. Do I have to... Oh, come on. Show. YouTube, stop blocking comments, YouTube. This is ridiculous. We are all grown-ups here. Dimitri, I've seen you in the chat room. I'm sorry I didn't acknowledge you. Gerald Tur, hello. Spike Moss. To me, equipment, the equipment to buy and use is all about that. What workflow works for you. Any combination of gear, iPad, synth, software is possible, feasible. It's just about how you get stuff done, and that's usually what I try to tell people too. Like, you have these tools, they can be tools or toys, or they can be something else. They can be fun or boring, they can be good or bad. It all depends on what you do with them. So just as creative as you're getting with your music, you can also get with tools in general, and how you use them, how you utilize them, how you get out of your box. Right? I mean, that's a good way of looking at it. I'm happy with my Steinberg UR24 2. Make sure you get an Android phone with Android 10. Thank you, Sion, for that. Yeah, a lot of people told me that when I talked to other people. on my alt accounts talking to people, on Android forums, because I don't want to go in there. How, hello, I'm the Jakob guy. I suck on the iDevices. I'm the guy that just loves the iDevices. I hate everything else. I don't want people to like, oh, you're that dude. Hate on him. I'm afraid that that will happen. So I use alt accounts and I go in and I ask people stuff, and people are very helpful when you just want to know stuff, which is a good thing. So it I just want to be able to present what I've found out, but I also need to test the platform now because it's been years since I did that, and I can't properly do a video on it until I've tested it. So Android with iOS 10. Thanks for that. Don't hear much about DMI Mixer, but it worked well with Audio Bus. MIDI Mixer, you mean, right? MIDI Mixer? Do you mean MIDI Mixer, or which one do you mean? Because I did a video some time ago about a Mixer 4 Audio Bus, but then Audio Bus 3 came out and it kind of had a mixer. Another great app that was taking advantage of the touchscreen is Flux FX. It's been abandoned. I think iOS apps should be focused on live performance rather than production. Alex Wook, there's another opinion I completely get. Like, I love being able to produce on my iPad, but out of everything I do on this platform, when I'm having most fun is when I'm just playing music and performing it. And I love using AUM, but whenever I use AUM, I always tend to bring it down to controllers, right? So always controllers, MIDI controllers, right? Because that's the way I want to work when I work with AUM. I want everything to be dedicated. I don't want to do things on screen. However, when I want to do touchscreen stuff, I use apps like Borderlands Granular, Figure. You see what I mean? Like stuff that were meant to fill out the screen and just be this touch controller. I always mention Sampler, TC11, and Borderlands Granular. Spacecraft is also one of those that can fit really well on a screen. Yeah, I mean, though I want to see more apps like that. Seriously, thanks for that N-Track tip. Yeah, right now, Sion, if you check on the Google Store, the N-Track should have something called audio route or N-Route. I can't remember if it's audio route or N-Route. But just check the N-Track developer page and you'll find it. And right now there are only one other app from one other developer that has implemented. That's what he told me anyway, the guy over at N-Track. So we just need to get more people to talk about it to see if developers will actually implement that into their apps. Because that's what happened with Audio Bus. All right? The Audio Bus people, they just offered the Audio Bus code to developers. And so people started implementing it, and suddenly we saw this whole slew of apps just implementing it, and now every app wasn't an island anymore. I mean, Audio Jack was there before, but yeah, Audio Bus really did that, and suddenly we could do these interesting live performances and things, with multiple screens, and then came the Audio Bus remote, so you could switch apps with your phone, and it's still working on the pad. Yeah. I mean, Android might get something like that if they start implementing that code. It's open source. There's nothing really stopping them from doing it, unless they don't think it's worth it. So, yeah. Because Android music has a bad rap by now, because I'm partially responsible for that. I realize that. That's why I want to fix it. But I need to test it first, because I won't put my money on my hand. What? I won't put my face in my money. I won't put my money in my mouth. What? How do you say it? I'm trying to find that thing you say. It's a saying. Put money where your mouth is worth. Are you worth the money in your mouth? Nej. Fan håller jag på med. I don't know. I don't know how to say it. Put your money where your mouth is. Well, I hope that brought you some laughs. At least I'm frustrated. I just can't seem to money where your mouth is. I can't put my money where my mouth is unless I've tested it out. That made me sound really wrong. That's like second language, really bad thing. Some of the English I speak is so bad. But I'm Swedish. So, Yeah, that should mean something. I know we haven't gone through a lot of these things, uh, but there was one here I wanted to go through. But there's so much fun. You're writing so much fun in here. Are you worth the money in your mouth? You like that one better? Okay. Jim Shannon. Hello, Jim. iOS apps code in Swift 5. Another catchphrase is only for my OnlyFans. I think Mr. Gumby, are you wishing for me to make an OnlyFans? I just, I might be joking around a lot about that, and if you would know me in person, I make really lewd jokes. But is it called lewd jokes? I don't know if it's lewd, but jokes of that nature. I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with people's sexualities or anything. I don't care one bit. So I'm very easygoing when it comes to joking around about pretty much everything. Uh, Everything, like literally everything. I don't care. One of my most favorite comedians is Ricky Gervais. Definitely one of my most favorite comedians, Ricky Gervais. I also love Dave Chappelle, for instance. So I don't have a problem with jokes that can go, a bit over the top. Don't don't know why I talked about that, but I probably would not make an OnlyFans. That's what I'm saying. Like, there's some things I just wouldn't do, and I don't want to say that there's something wrong with that. People who choose to use OnlyFans to make a living, I fully respect it. I fully respect that that's the way you want to do. As long as you are at an age where you can decide stuff like that for yourself, you're allowed to do what you want to do, and I will not judge you for it. I cannot judge people for stuff like that. I, and I wouldn't want to either. So I'm not saying that that's bad. It's just that I wouldn't do that because it just doesn't fit my personality. I don't have the personality. But it would be fun. It's a fun thing. It's something I've never experienced, never done. It would be a fun thing. But then again, I heard that Delphine took some pictures of her cheesy feet. Uh, uh, and I'm wondering, like, maybe I could do something like that. Cheesy feet pictures. I, I wouldn't charge much for that, though. I don't think that, at least for me, cheesy feet might not be worth it. But then again, for some people who are into feet, I can get that they might like it. So I'm not saying that they're bad for it. It's just that for me, I would not pay much for that cheesy feet. But if someone wanted to pay for it, I could do that for a very low price. So if you need your cheese feet fix, I can do that very very low. So that's okay. So maybe stuff like that. But showing stuff like genitals and things like that, it's not really my personality. That's not how I work. And I wasn't put together like to think like that. I think it all depends on how the situations you are in. Some people don't have an option. Some people feel they don't have any other way to go. It's an interesting discussion. It's not really something I'm good at when it comes to stuff like this because I'm usually just confused by either sides of the topics when people start talking about this. And usually people get angry at each other, and that's where the conversation loses everything. You lose everything as soon as you get angry at something, for because someone is not thinking like you lose the argument. Everyone loses. No one gains anything from that, and that's why I usually stay away from those topics. And when people ask me what I think, I honestly say I don't know, and I can't judge anyone for anything that they do. I don't think I have the right to do that. Basically, I don't know that maybe that could be viewed in a coward's way, but I'm honest when I say I don't know. I don't know. When you cannot laugh anymore, it's time to check out. Yeah, definitely. Philadelphia Feet. Samuel, that's so good. Philadelphia. Next title for my video. Next video title. Philadelphia Feet. No one would get that though. Only you. You found it. Audio route. Good. I can't seem to find the open source. Okay, so yeah, you did find it. Okay, nice, nice, nice. if you can spread that word, Sion, to people, do that. And I will be coming out with a video, but for me it might take months because, like I said, I'm going to be haunting. I'm going to be haunting an auction site so that I can get one of those Androids with 10, whatever it's called, cookie or chocolate bar or crunchy meal. What they call them stuff. They call them weird stuff like lettuce boy or something like that. Lettuce, jello puff, puffy rice, crackers with ice, puffy rice and jello, something like that. Raspberry marmalade. I don't know. Violet buns. They call them weird stuff. You know, these different Android versions. It's not like on iOS. Like you have iOS 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, up to 14. I wonder when they're gonna stop with that. I wonder when they're gonna stop with that. Puffy pudding. They got rid of the dessert names. They stopped with the dessert names after 10. Oh, okay. All right. They stopped with that. Nice. Okay. But I thought that was kind of cute, though. I kind of like that. That was, you know, it's chocolate. What iOS? What OS are you using? I'm using chocolate. Chocolate, cinnamon. I used to use cinnamon, but now it's chocolate. I think chocolate's pretty good. I just that is a conversation I want to have with people. What a shame. Here is the audio out app list. Oh, you probably couldn't post that, Mr. Gumby, because I haven't found out how to make YouTube not stop commenters from posting links. So I'm gonna try to find another way for you to actually send in links to me while I'm going live so that I can vet them first, because I know that there are some trolls among you. I know I'm not the only troll in this stream. I know that. So I'm gonna make it so that you can send it in. Maybe we could do that like a Discord thing. We'll have a chat window for Discord open at all times, and then you can send links in and I can check them, and then I can post it out into the feed so that we can discuss it. What do you think? That's a good idea for the future? I think that would be a more fun, interactable way for you to actually interact with us, to all of us. Yeah, Mike Lucas, I know Discord. Okay, Mike, calm yourself. All right, take a breather. Just go into a corner, breathe a little bit, whatever you need to do. Calm yourself. Don't lose your pants. I'll use Discord. All right, and I've thought about when I should be doing Discord chats, and I'm thinking that Thursdays, the day after stream, would be a good day for that. So probably start doing that next week, and I'll try to make an announcement for it at what times I'm going to be there, and then also I'll try to be in more during Thursdays during that day, just hopping in and out. But there will be this time when I'm in there for sure, at least. So yeah, calm your pants. Don't need to soil them twice over this. I'll fix it. I'll fix it. I will not. Mike refuses. Mike refuses. I can't do anything about that, chat. I'm sorry. That's Mike's prerogative. If he wants to refuse, he can. But I'm fixing it. I'm fixing it, Mike. No need to put your mouth in your money over this. That's we'll take care of it. We'll take care of it. I think it's calm. I think he is. So for the 25 people that are still here watching, you're wonderful. And wait, what is time? We're gonna keep doing this for a little while. I thought it was. I looked at the time. To be honest with you, I'm getting hungry. That's why. That's why. I thought I would be rounding this up because I want to go out and eat some food. My partner, she's sick. She got home. She's been learning stuff she's basically taking a course. She's been a journalist for many years now, and she wanted to change her life course. Well, She wanted to change the stuff she does in her life and do something else with nature and, you know, being out. So she's taking a course, and she's been out. She was out yesterday in the snow, because finally we have snow and ice in Sweden. Oh, oh, I love it so much. You have no idea how much I love it. I just can't have enough of it. I can't have enough of it. Oh, there are clips on my there are video clips on my channel where I'm just sliding into snow, and I love it so much. And she was out working a whole day learning how to properly prune trees. That's one of the things that she has to learn, and she has to learn about soil and how that works, the biology about that, biology of plants and things like that. And she's really, really, you know, she's so impressive. She's really good at what she's doing, and she's got such a head for reading stuff and learning stuff. Yeah, I'm just very proud of her. And she came home sick from that day, caught a regular cold. This is a regular cold, guys, don't worry about it. But she's got a bit of a, you know, thick nose and fever, so she can't do much right now. So I want to go out there and, you know, cook something for her. That's what I want to do. But I'll still stick with you here for a little bit. I mean, we got like maybe about 15 minutes. I know I realized I took up about 5 minutes talking about my partner. I just wanted to say how proud I am over her. I mean, she's acing her tests. Like, you have no idea how hard that would be for me. Like, I'm the worst at sitting down and learning stuff like that. Even manuals I have to reread several times because text don't really stick with me, and numbers fall away instantly. I lose myself whenever I read them. So I always have problems with that. I'm so impressed by people who can learn stuff and really just see text and, you know, pick it apart like that. And now she's doing the physical thing, and she's getting good at that too, which is fun because I used to do jobs like that before. So finally it feels like I can finally help her. She's been helping me with journalism and understanding how that works, and doing interviews and a little bit about my videos. Do you know that my partner, she's been helping me with my titles for the past year, and thumbnails, and also telling me a little bit about how you do stuff to get attention, and because she's been doing articles, you know, she knows how that works. So yeah, finally I feel like I can tell her, yeah, if you need to do this with this machine, then think about using this type of fuel. Don't pour this fuel in there. And if you do, you do this and that. You know, I feel like I finally have something to provide her. You know, it feels great. I feel like I'm finally useful, not just this overly excited idiot walking around singing stuff in a loop until she tells me, Jacob, can you just please stop? Just please. You've been doing it for 2 hours now, Jacob. Stop. Just stop. I do that. I tend to do that, and I don't do it on purpose. It just happens. Oh, yeah. By the way, have y'all seen that? I posted on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook that IK Multimedia is going to release a new Uno synth. And it's Uno, it's not Uno, because it's made in Italy by Italics. It's made in Italy by the synth is handmade in Italy by an Italian company, which is IK Multimedia. They're from Italy. And so the name they named it is Uno. It's just that when it went over to America and they started doing the marketing, they pronounce it like they do in the US, Uno. But it's not Uno. It shouldn't be compared to the Uno, like the Roland Uno. It's Uno because it's the first one they did. The Uno. Number uno. Number one. That's why it's called that. So Uno Pro, and they have two versions. A desktop version, and the other one with full keys. Now I looked into it, and it looks like it's got like 3 oscillators. And the cool thing is that they kind of did the thing that Arturia did with Microfreak, because Microfreak has this 4-note paraphony literally, and the Uno has a three-note paraphony, so you can run each of the oscillators as one voice, which is pretty cool. So now you can do chords and stuff with it. And then there's some other cool stuff in there, like a 64-step sequencer, which I like that they added that. And yeah, I'm super excited. And of course, I'm gonna call them and say, what do I have to do to get one early, people, so I can show this thing, because it just looks gorgeous, and I wanna hear it. I wanna hear it. I wanna see it. I wanna feel it. But I'm not sure that I'm gonna get the full key version. In my case, the desktop version would probably fit better. Fiat Uno. You're talking about a car? Russ, is that the car? Oh, hello, Russ, by the way. I don't know if I said hello to you earlier. To anyone in the stream, just hello and welcome. And I mean, I will be leaving soon. But before we do that, as usual, I just want to take a minute to say thank you for all your support this year. I know this is it's been a nice year, 2020. One of the biggest events of my life have happened during 2020, and I've seen a lot of YouTubers make videos about how bad 2020 were, and I get it. I've seen posts on Facebook from private people, not public people, saying it's the worst year yet, and I understand it, and that's why I'm so scared to say what I'm about to say, because I don't want people to get the wrong idea. For me, 2020 was one of the best years I've had. Not because of the C19 thing. It's not like I like that thing. I mean, people have lost people because of it. But for me, it was a good year because I was involved in the development of a synthesizer made for me, and now you are able to take part in that. It's such a big story in my life. I can't even begin to emphasize how that has affected me, and also changed my view on app development and app developers, and being a customer and what customer wants and feedback. It's changed everything for me, and it's been one of the best. And I'm so grateful that you supported us, supported me, my channel to this point. I would not have been able to do that without an audience just continuously clicking and watching all my stuff. It was the best year for me, and I'm sad for everyone else who doesn't get to say that. I'm really sad. It breaks my heart. Um, it's weird when people ask me how was 2020. I say it was good, and they look at me funny. I get it. That's why I don't want to say it to people I don't know. At least here I can explain what I mean. A lot of healing and growing. Yeah, I get that. And it's not like I haven't been affected by this, because we have been affected in our families. So we know. We get that. We get that bit. But for me, as my career, if you call it that, it was a good year. Even though I had the biggest drop of views ever in my history, in the history of my channel, ever. That didn't matter in the end, because yeah, you are still here. The core audience is still here, and I'm thankful for that. I recognize so many of you, since years back, and you're still here. And to everyone new tuning in, welcome, and stick around, because it might become a crazier journey, this year, and we'll just keep doing that. We're doing a new journey, building something together. So just you're part of it. Whenever you click in, whenever you start a video for a YouTuber, even if you watch a minute, you've been part of something, you've done something. So that's good. We're building this platform together. YouTube wouldn't have anything without any of us. Okay, so I'm not the only one feeling guilty about my great 2020 year. Okay, Dimitri, you also had a great year. Uh, well, I'm happy for you that you were also able to have a good year. Mugambi says, no travel to work gave me loads of time back to put into music. Yeah, and I've heard that a lot of people, like a lot of dads out there, have been happy to spend time with their kids uh, which I get also. And a lot of moms who don't have to go to certain things, but then you can't stay home forever because you need to pay your rent. And yeah, that's when it gets hard, and when you lose your job and stuff. So I've been lucky. I've been extremely lucky. I feel lucky, even though I chose this. I could never have known that this would happen, and I never planned for this. I never did. None of us really did. There are people that plan for this stuff, I know, but most of us didn't. And so some are lucky, some are not, when it happens. At least we're in a time where we actually have. If this would have, imagine this, people, if this would have happened 100 years ago or 200 years ago, it would have been a different story. The spread would have been different. Yeah, I get it, but it would have been a different story. And we did not have the internet or phones or anything, satellites to talk to, you know? Not like we're talking to satellites, but talk to each other. Right now, I'm sitting here streaming from an apartment somewhere in a small country, for some of you halfway across the world, live. Imagine that. We have that. So we don't really have to feel alone, even when we know we kind of are, but we're not really. It's hard to be alone today. There's always someone watching. Always someone watching. So before we get into weird land, oh, wow, that really hurt. I do that. I keep getting tense. I tense up in certain positions, and then whenever I leave this chair after a hard day, everything just, yeah, I should get up and move around more like I did in the past. Yeah, as usual, I wasn't able to stay on topic for long, but I still think that we got a lot of good discussions going. And as usual, the chat is like super active, and that's the whole reason to why this channel exists, is for that reason. So I'm so glad that this is working out for us. All right, I'm super happy for that. Now, until next time, I'm thinking about maybe, yeah, I want to find a way of having people being able to call in and appearing here, so that some of you could just join me if you wanted to. And I thought I could begin, maybe have some guests or people on. So why don't you, in the comment section of any of my videos, any channel you want, just tell me if you want that, or if you're following me on Instagram or something like that. We can have a discussion. Oh, you know what? My Discord, okay? Let's start using that thing. I'm gonna need a moderator over at Discord, but I don't know who to ask, because I don't have money to pay someone, and that's why I don't want to ask anyone. That's why I'm trying to do it myself. Not because I don't want to give it away. It's just that when I'm giving someone something like that, I'm not giving them anything. I'm just giving and handing them work, an unpaid job, which I feel it's kind of shitty. You know, you know what I mean? Because I've been treated like that, and I don't want people to feel used. So I gotta figure out how to do that somehow. But yeah, let's hook up in Discord and try to get some discussions going on about that. Would be cool to have some of you just call in live. That would be cool. It could do it in a way so that it's audio, not video. If many of you feel, some of you might feel uncomfortable showing yourselves. I get that. So if you want to do it audio, we could do something like that. I could put up a Skype conversation, whatever, something fun. So yeah, let's talk about it. Instagram on the iPad. Yeah, the problem with Instagram though, Sion, is that I have to go through an aggregate or some kind, because what I always want to do is save the entire video fully so that I can upload and use bits and pieces of it. And so I don't want to use Instagram directly, but that could be a good choice, definitely, because that works. I've tried that before. So yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, it works on Instagram. All right, okay. Okay, yeah, sure. Stream audio through Discord voice chat. Yeah, Mike, I've thought about that too. I've seen other gamers do that, of course. Um, yeah, we have not declared war on TSTR. Jesus Christ, that's my friend. He's my friend. Doug Woods is my friend. There's no war between TSTR and myself. Don't start a war. Don't start. If you want to do it personally, that's up to you. But he's my friend. So until next time, let's chat in Discord. I'll see you next Wednesday. This has been Jakob haQ at Jakob haQ Live, and I love you for being here. So as usual, I wish you a very productive week. Now go finger all of your stuff and have a lot of fun doing it. And now comes the bit, the funny bit, where you don't really know when I'm gonna end the stream. You know, I've been drinking a lot of tea and a lot of water, and that's usually a bad thing. Usually a bad thing, especially when you need to go to the bathroom, and the bathroom is quite a way away. You know, there's a few steps over there, and I feel like I really have to relieve myself. I could probably, if I could magically bend, if I could bend space time, and if I could create like a small gravity well, a tiny gravity well, by the door over at the toilet, and another one, so I could just, then I could like, I could do the black hole kind of like gravity well slingshot maneuver. I could sit over here and just fizzle a little stream of fizzle over there. It would go around the bend and then into the toilet. I think about stuff like that a lot, and I don't know why. I mean, why would you try that? Have a nice day, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Is the stream still going? The stream is still going. We got Healing Heart in here, and I haven't seen you in stream. I'm sorry that I didn't acknowledge you. Well, I'll see everyone next Wednesday, and I won't troll you this time. I'm not just gonna end it in the middle of a sentence.